All right, so we're in a new game, and I think this is maybe being played on like Peru servers or something, because everyone has like, well, one team definitely has some South American people, and the other team possibly, but they seem like they have a 5k plus come 4k plus. It seems like a South American name, but anyways, unimportant. That's just me being curious. Ogre Mage first pick here, tied like in Brew and DP bans, which all makes sense. Yeah, hopefully there's no feeding. It's a team game, so I think there'd be a little bit less of a hotly contested mid position and subsequent feeding as a result. So hopefully this game's
maybe one of these teams has their player's last day they've been kicked, so they're just going to feed like the Invoker from the last game.
Oh, that was such a ridiculous scenario. Faceless Void here getting picked up as well. Skywrath Mage. Nice to have the Skywrath on your team when you pick the Faceless to avoid issues with getting messed up in Chronosphere, and also you can obviously combo that nicely as well with both ultimates. So, and Faceless and Skywrath, both strong heroes. Yeah, these picks so far make a lot of sense. Wondering who the Radiant's going to pick up.
In this case, I think you already know that this is a hero I love, but I would have gone for Vengeful Spirit here because she's good for swapping people out of the Chronosphere or the Orbital Assault Cannon, because I don't remember the name of the skill. But Skywrath's
Mystic Flare.
Mystic Flare, thank you.
But yes, it's very much like an Orbital Assault Cannon. I was gonna say maybe Invoker, although they picked Jakiro. That's also a good pick to throw shit in the Chronosphere and mess with Faceless Void. They might not have an Invoker player, but if they have a good one, the Tornadoes and the EMPs on top of Faceless's ult and stuff, it's just so frustrating. And yeah, he's a pretty good hero overall, but they're picking the Jakiro instead. Jakiro, I was casting a 1v1 tournament on the weekend, and we saw one of the players who finished actually first during the initial like just round robin stages. He picked Jakiro a few times and just cheese the crap out of people, and like it really illustrates the power of his liquid fire when you see him in a 1v1 lane and just demolishing the tower, and there's nothing they can do about it. So Jakiro's a good pick, is what I'm saying after all of this.
10
I'm a little surprised by the Phoenix ban. It seems to be one that people talked a lot about how broken it was in pubs, but as far as pro games are concerned, Secret seems to have had some success with him, but it doesn't really seem like any other teams have really found a place for this hero yet. How do you feel about Phoenix?
I think the ban is because of Faceless Void. And I don't know. I think he's a good hero. As long as he doesn't get ganked early on, he can really get pretty snowbally in lane because his fire spirits are just stupid, and then he hits 6 and then he gets a free like return to full health or get out of jail free card. But I think if you're playing with an organized team and you don't fit him into your draft just right, then the other team is just gonna pick him apart because he's super squishy at the start. And yeah, he can dive away, but then when he comes back, he's gonna die anyways.
5 seconds.
So Phoenix is good, but yeah, I don't know about a ban.
Dyer's pick.
I think it's more just because of the Faceless Void, because imagine that'd be pretty friggin' annoying.
Yeah, if everybody gets stuck in the Chronosphere and then burned.
Yeah, just make your day really, really sad and bad. Yeah, so we got Puck and a Mirana ban, as well as a Sand King ban. All strong heroes. It's so nice casting games like this, so I don't have to be like, why? I can just agree with their decisions. Yeah, I mean, for oh man, these guys for the Dire. I'm not gonna call them by their team name. I don't even know how to say that properly. For the Dire, they need to get a strong mid, a strong offlane. I mean, Faceless could offlane, and he's pretty solid offlane, but I think they're probably gonna put him in a carry role. And then the Radiant's got their supports for the tri-lane fixed up pretty nicely, so they're in a good spot. And two very tanky supports, so I think they'll have a better time than the Dire side supports, just given how squishy Sky is. I don't know who they're going to pick as their second, but that's definitely one of his downsides, is how quickly he dies.
Yeah, I think you can also sort of see it reflected through Tide was already banned out. I think the Sand King was a fairly intelligent ban, given the fact that they're looking for that second support. I know Sand King kind of isn't your traditional choice as far as a tanky hero is concerned, but every time I've had to play against him, I've been very frustrated, and every single time I've played as him, it's been a lot of fun. And it looks like we got Elder Titan on the 5k plus 4k players. With Thomas the Tank Engine on the... is that Thomas Tank Engine as their logo?
That's his face.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think. It's one of the tank engines, I don't remember which. What a weird show. What a weird show. I watched it a few times, but I definitely preferred Power Rangers and like someone's comfy couch. I forget whose comfy couch it was, but that was
10
a fun
seconds
show.
to go.
But yeah, Elder
just
Titan,
a big
this is
company.
kind of continuing with the
5
sort of trend of
5
just
seconds.
stack everything on top of Faceless's ult. Just be complete assholes. So like Natural
Reserve
Order
time.
on top of people stuck in there. Elder Titan's ult, which generally is actually pretty hard to hit, becomes a lot easier. So and PA pickup here by the Radiant
Dyer's
side,
pick.
a really good idea. The one problem is that she's good until Faceless gets an MKB, at which point it becomes a lot more of a fair fight. So they need to be careful to get her up and running
Radiant's pick.
nicely before Faceless can start, countering her effectively with an MKB. And there you go, your favorite, Vengeful Spirit, actually taken by the Dyer to, I guess, avoid potential of people getting swapped out, maybe?
Well, I think the biggest thing on this one is if you consider Natural Order plus Vengeful Spirit's Howl of Terror, or Wave of Terror,
God,
rather.
that's disgusting.
Yeah, it's even Ogre Magi, who's got a ridiculous amount of
10
armor, is just going to be
seconds
melting
to go.
underneath this team. So I'm actually quite worried for Radiant on this. I
5
think
seconds.
they might pull something incredible out in the last two picks, but I think
Reserve
the
time.
5k and plus 4k players have been. I think they've got everything they've wanted in this draft. I need to give them a different name.
I'm just calling
Four
it
anchors
Dyer.
plus a sea captain.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We could call them the tank engines.
The tank, yeah, that's a good name. We should give them a message to their manager.
Hey, you guys should call yourselves the tank engines instead of 4K plus com 4K plus. Did you translate that? Is that what it means? What you were saying earlier?
I don't actually know, like I don't know the language, but I'm
Dyer
assuming
team
that
ban.
that's what it means. So we've got the obvious mid now for Radiant,
Yeah.
and it seems like the tank engines have their last mid pick. What are you thinking as far as what they would do to round out this
Against Quad?
10
disgusting void
seconds to
game?
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they banned out the puck, which might have been a decent pick
5
against the Quap.
seconds.
They pick off the Doom there as their ban,
Radiant
which is a good
team
choice. I mean,
ban.
Doom would be a bit of a problem against the Faceless Void. Yeah, in terms of heroes that like stack up well on the Faceless Void ult train, I don't know.
10
I mean,
seconds to go.
Mag's not great because then he's going to be in there when the ult goes off.
5 seconds.
You kind of need someone that can face off decently against Quap. I mean, I'd be happy seeing like a
Reserve
Viper or a
time.
Razor, just like a solid mid that's going to fare well against Queen of Pain. Viper with his corrosive skin is a little bit tankier, and then Razor, he has his E, which sends a purge off to the other
Dyer's
person.
pick.
Zeus would have been good, so that's a nice ban on their part. But I guess we'll see what
I'm
they
cu-
pick. But yeah, I'm thinking just a hero that kind of fares well. Doesn't necessarily. I mean, they've already built like 4 people into this combo. They don't need to have every single hero be a part of it, and maybe it's a bit more important just to make sure that your mid doesn't get slaughtered by Queen
Yeah.
of Pain.
I'd be curious to see. I know it's an unconventional pick, but here's your Invoker.
I guess.
I was gonna say
Radiant's
Troll-
pick.
Sorry, go ahead. Troll Warlord, maybe.
I was gonna say, yeah, Troll Warlord would have been kind of interesting because I know everybody goes for the mask on Faceless Void, but just having that Troll ult would get him, killing people in that Chrono a little bit earlier. But
Yeah.
honestly, I've never seen it though. It may have been a terrible choice.
I know Troll in like OD is good because OD's got such shitty attack speed, and then you get a Troll Warlord, and then he has his orbs, and he just does so much damage. So there's a few
10
niche picks where that makes a lot of
seconds
sense.
to go.
But I like this Invoker. They didn't have a chance to ban him out,
5
and Invoker actually fits
seconds.
well into their team. Again, with there you go. It falls with what you were saying with the Chronosphere, with the
Reserve
combo.
time.
The whole combo deal, they can just throw everything on top of that. And Brood Mama getting picked up here by
Dyer's pick.
the Radiant. They don't have the Tank Engines moniker. Maybe we'll think of something for them later. But geez, what an annoying hero. I hate her so much. I hate Brood Mother. And she's a great pick against this team because for all their team fight, they don't have that much in terms of AoE clear. At least until Faceless Void gets a B Fury or something else. So yeah, so she's going to be a huge pain for them and give PA a lot of space to farm and get to that point that I mentioned that she needs to be at to be able to really just shut down Faceless Void. So we'll see how that goes for them.
Yeah, and especially on the point of the Battle Fear, I mean, Faceless Void does have a bit of a ticking clock as far as getting that MKB is concerned, because certainly the longer that this goes through, the more annoying PA is going to be. So,
Yeah.
Although I believe the evasion is
5
disabled inside the
seconds.
Chronosphere now, isn't it?
No, it's not. It used to be. It used to be that passes were disabled. They changed that on Chrono, on Doom's alt, and on Legion's alt, because they're all a little bit too strong, so they changed that around to give other heroes a little bit more breathing room with regards to fighting against them. So I'll go ahead and take the easier team here. The tank engines, we have Ryur on Invoker, FNT on Vengeful Spirit, Dai Vernon on Elder Titan, B-God playing the Faceless Void, and Zelo on the Skywrath Mage. And now on the Radiant.
We have got Zero Kite on the PA, Invoker using his taunt, saying that it's already in the bag. Naden XD on the Jakiro. We've got Cetric on a mid Queen of Pain. Universidad. I can't even read the second part of that.
Universidad de Brasilia.
On the annoying Broodmother, who actually looks to be partnering up with Jakiro. And finally, we've got Bale on the Ogre Magi, or maybe they're all just kind of conglomerating to contest the.
It could be a
top
tri-lane
lane.
top with a PA solo against the Elder Titan, and she'll fare reasonably well against that. So I'm actually liking the choices here by the Radiant. I still don't know. I mean, based on what you said, I agree with you. I'm not sure about their fate here in the mid game and the late game as the combo really starts to come together, but
Battle will
they're making some
commence
good
in
decisions, and with
30
these three
seconds.
heroes here in the top lane, they're just going to beat up the opposing heroes placed against them, who are all quite fragile, and lots of harass potential here with the Spiders, with Ignite, with Liquid Fire on Jakiro, who picks up Ice Path first, kind of a strange choice. But anyways, they definitely have a strong aggro try, and Broodmother not super dependent on farm. Quap might actually end up dying, but she ends up getting away. We'll see who manages to pick up the rune here. It's going to be Jakiro, and Ogre Magi needs to get out of there and stop getting blocked by Jack, but the rune on bottom actually not being contested by either hero, so there's an opportunity there to snag that later on. Fun little engagement there at the start. I like that they've had the double rune spawn now. I know it's been some time, but it really adds a cool dynamic there. And they're actually not going to do the aggro try, not the geniuses that I wish they were. They're going to go bottom, and it's going to be Broodmother by herself here top. So I think a little bit of potential lost there. It could have been really good. We saw just at the start with the harass it. A lot of potential there to be killing people and pushing the towers and stuff. But yeah, more of a traditional setup instead.
So far looks like a very passive, for such an exciting opening.
Yeah.
Very passive start.
Some pings coming out here on top. Broodmother hasn't used her second sentry yet. I don't know where she put the first. Or maybe she just had one. But anyways, so she's probably going to wait to see to the point where she gets revealed out of stealth and then go and try and hunt that down with her spiderlings. One thing to mention is that Jakiro already level 2. He actually got both runes, so he got top and bottom, and he got that first 200 experience right away, so nice little boost for him. He's not really making use of his liquid fire as much as he should be. He should be right out there on top of Elder Titan. Every time he comes within range, just throw the liquid fire on top of him and gradually wear him down. But yeah, like you're saying, not super interesting so far. Faceless and PA pretty even on last hits. Quap is beating out the Invoker pretty nicely here mid. But he's starting to build up levels in Exort. I imagine he'll have a better time last hitting later on. So we'll see how this goes for him.
I'll admit, actually, I was a little surprised about the Queen of Pain pick, just because that is picking into a Skywrath Mage, which is obviously going to hurt her blink. And I mean, really, she does seem to be the top priority for that kind of an attack. But so far, she seems to be doing some good work. And I was going to say, I know Quas Exhort certainly benefits this destroy armor lineup, but I actually think the crowd control for Quas-Wex might have been a little bit more appropriate here.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that. Like, I thought he was going to be going, EMP Tornado kind of build, but he's favoring more the brushing people's face kind of thing, which they already have a lot of people available, but he's going over onto Quap. She manages to sneak away, and no Sunstrike being used by the Invoker.
And I think something will be happening bottom soon. We've got an Ogre with N and Viz, and a really pushed ahead Elder.
Looking to stop here. He's only going to catch the PA though, but that's going to prevent the slow being used. Nice Ice Path here, right in front, but catches him while he's actually stunned, so some stun stacking happening, and they're not going to get the kill. I think that might have gone a little bit differently if those stuns hadn't been stacked. With Jakiro waiting a little bit to throw out the Ice Path.
That's definitely a shame. As it turns out, actually, the Ice Path sort of seems to have paid off simply because he did get those 2 runes, so he didn't put him too far off the Liquid Fire, but I'm not entirely sure that's a build that you...
Fire first. I mean, it's just so strong.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, like, if you don't get both runes, all of a sudden that's not that good of an idea. Although the way that he's been playing him, it almost seems like he wasn't planning on using Liquid Fire as much as he should have. Looks like Jakiro and Ogre have smoked, and they're probably going to be heading towards Invoker mid.
Yeah, and Quap putting Invoker in a good place to get ganked. Invoker not ready to QQ Wex his way out. Doesn't have his Ghost Walk available. There's the Ignite coming out, looking for the Ice Path. Gonna stun right on top of him. He's pretty dead. So a nice first blood. Great smoke gank. Really showing that, you know, you can help out your mid a lot by swinging in there with heroes with stuns and slows like that. It's pretty easy to set up a kill. So well played on their part.
Is under siege.
PA managing to squeeze right in between that those 2 radiuses, I guess, on his stomp. So nice little move from her there. But she needs some help here bottom. She does have a Ring of Regen. I think she's going for an early Vlad's, which is kind of strange. But yeah, their supports did leave her in a little bit of a shitty position.
Yeah, I'll admit, I think I know we sometimes have different views on PA, but I think this is one where I see in pubs a lot that people don't really build a lot of damage on her. They sort of just let her... They kind of just assume that she's not good for anything on the first, in the opening minutes of the game, but I think early damage is definitely something that's the way to go on a hero like this. I don't like the idea of having somebody taken out.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, I don't know, Vlad's first, what are you going to jungle? Like, what's the point? When you can get like a Poor Man's Shield to help with harass and last hitting, and then I don't know, maybe a Quelling Blade, and then yeah, like my preferred PA build is like she catches Invoker there with the dagger right at the end. But anyways, yeah, I like getting that early damage and then lifesteal and then the bash and then build into attack speed, and I don't know. It's hard seeing people play a hero that you know how to play so well and not play it quite as nicely, in my opinion. We'll see how it ends up going. So a lot of deaths happening around the map. Elder Titan really diving in there and getting a little bit too excited, exposing himself to an easy gank there by the supports. It's going to help PA continue to farm and build her bad item that she's chosen to make. But farm nonetheless. Void doing really good there on the farm front though, almost at 40 CS. So we should be hitting 60 by the 10-minute mark, which is generally a pretty good indicator of how well you're doing. Brood not really getting any help up here, so trying to figure stuff out on her own.
Yeah, it's a shame to see what Elder Titan was doing too, because he's really getting the levels that he needed, and I mean, farm would have been great. I mean, he's certainly getting his denies in, but ultimately, he's died twice now. Or was it just the one time that he died? No, sorry, it is just the one time.
Yeah.
Almost
like
ganked, I forgot the yeah.
Yeah, he just barely got away that time.
Yeah, but at this point he's kind of erased any advantage he had from being so close to the creep wave, and the fact that the supports haven't been harassing him as much. So he got some action heading towards the top lane.
Oh. So Jack... Oh yeah, they got a smoke gank coming up here near top. We'll see if they do manage to find anyone. Venge actually peeling back here for some unknown reason. I don't know, maybe she suspects something is coming out to bite her. Those spiders might just barely notice her, maybe? Not sure. Looks like maybe a lost opportunity. These guys are going to hang out in the trees for a little bit. We'll have to wait and see if they manage to convert it into something. Void is 6, so he's going to be able to stop that gank attempt with a Chrono if he needs to. It's going to be very dangerous to dive onto the tower on him, but they can go ahead and pick off the Vengeful Spirit. Instead, Brood runs under the tower, gets destroyed. Man, people! So
looks
frustrating.
Like Jakiro's going to get it as well.
Jakiro going to die as well.
is being attacked.
Yeah,
And,
and I have to question Ogre Magi's decision to go in with that Ignite there. There's no kill that he was going to get, and his allies were already dead.
Dire's
Fortunately,
top
though,
tower is
for
under
him,
attack.
he
Let me
doesn't
put
pay
it
for
in
that
Old
decision.
English so that
Doesn't
it will
pay the
penetrate
iron
your
price.
wizard's cap. Thou art
But yeah, I mean,
cleansing.
Venge was there on the side. She was hanging back. They were able to cut them back and push them towards the tower, but instead, Elder Titan getting away with just a sliver of HP. No final crit there. Wop is coming up to clean out, and the spider's on top of Faceless Void. Looks like she might want to come back in and do some auto attacks. He doesn't have enough to jump away. He's looking to get a bash, though. Not quite lucky enough. A Sunstrike here, picking off the Quap. Oh, geez, some pretty great moves here by both mid-heroes. Phase Boots up on the Invoker now. But yeah, like we were saying previously,
Dire's top tower has been
that
destroyed.
Venge was totally exposed and would have been a really easy kill. Probably pick off the Venge and maybe get Faceless to blow his ult, trying to defend her, maybe get a kill on Skywrath or something, but going for the tankier hero with the disabling ult under the tower like Broodmother did, just not a good idea.
Even then, if you really wanted to dive a tower, at least use Ogre, somebody who can actually take the hits like that. Broodmother is certainly not somebody who's able to, even with a Basilius, she's just somebody who's not able to sit there and take tower hits like that. Although again, nobody really should be tanking a tower at this point.
And, well, there's a random pause, but PA's looking to get a kill here on bottom. Not sure why the pause happened. No.
Tactical.
Yeah, maybe. No words being uttered here. Now Skywrath is pausing. I have no idea what's going on. But anyways, PA, she's kind of getting to that point where she's really dangerous. Elder Titan did turn it back around on her. She almost got a kill. Looks like he was at like 60 health, so there's a difference between a crit and not a crit. Yeah, I mean, that earlier dive where he fed the kill is really costing him right now, because PA is just daggering and jumping on him and backing up when he tries to stomp and just really beating the crap out of him pretty nicely. So there's a random pause. We don't know why it happened. Nothing. It's so weird. It's just being held. No requests by either side. No comments at all. They're just waiting for something. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can take a quick look at the graphs. 2,000 in favor of the Radiant, actually, which wasn't what I expected. I think their Quap and their Brood have been doing a better job of farming than the others. Faceless definitely doing a really good job on his. He's actually coming in here right on top of the PA. She wants to get the kill, but she gets stunned out and dies to the Faceless Void. That was rough for her. I'm sure she's pretty upset about that.
Yeah, no, you can see the graphs completely plateau from that move.
Yeah, and that was a really good TP by him.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
Yeah, I mean,
We had enough time to think of it.
Yeah, there's a tactical pause by the Radiant that ended up favoring the Dire.
This should be Dire's top tower.
So an Ice Path missed. There is an Ignite though, so he should be able to catch up in Liquid Fire, but just turns around for reasons that I don't quite comprehend. They're gonna let Vengeful get away. Faceless, I mean, okay, his chrono is up, but he wasn't even close, and now they're choosing to chase, so kind of, I don't know, weird. I'd say like staccato attempts at killing this Vengeful Spirit, in and out and back and forth, and oh man, this chrono on all three. It looks like they're, God, that's one down. Looks like it might be two down, and Quap's gonna be able to escape, but a little bit too much time spent messing around chasing after the Vengeful Spirit, giving her a chance to pull back towards the tower and set up a decent escape. So PA's probably going to be looking to blink here onto the Queen of Pain, but she has to dodge that stomp first. What do you think about the game so far? I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure about...
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised at Dire. I thought they were a lot stronger, but they're about to lose their tier 3, and they've just kind of let this Broodmother take everything down, and the Vengeful Spirit seems to have been out of position a whole lot. I know she got Faceless Void 2 kills, but I think that was more despite her being out of position rather than something premeditated. And looks like Elder Titan... Oh, does he get away? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, Brood really showing herself as the dirty hero that she is. Just a few minutes of distraction and she's managed to push out the entirety of the top lane. She's actually in the base doing damage to the tier 3. And Faceless Void doesn't have that AoE that we mentioned earlier. He has power treads up now, and I don't know, if I was him, I might even delay getting that belt of strength to me and just get the Mjolnir up and running, because it's going to be really rough trying to push off these spiders if you transfer that glove of haste into power treads and delay your Mjolnir even further, or Maelstrom. I always call it Mjolnir.
Radiant's
Maelstrom.
middle tower is being attacked.
And P actually getting a medallion, so kind of going a weird like early utility push build. So far it's paid off. She's been able to fight pretty decently. I do think she would have been able to fight just the same with kind of a helm and phase boots, but she's doing a good job with items that she currently has. I just kind of fear for the later game where Medallion's not really going to do that much for you in terms of trying to fight off Faceless Void, who we saw came down and just kind of spanked her earlier, so we'll see how that ends up going when she gets more points in Blur and that sort of stuff. But yeah, the Radiant doing a really good job carrying this early game momentum, making good use of all their heroes, moving around, ganking, Chihiro helping with pushes, Ogre Magi setting up with stuns and stuff. And there's been good counterplay from what do we call them again? The
tank engines.
Tank engines.
And
that's right.
Looks like Broodmother's finally met her match with Faceless Void.
There you go. That Chronosphere very useful for rooting out the Broodmother.
It's just a combination of the Sunstrike and Void finishing her off. Now, I think the one problem with Sky was that he was hanging in the base for a while. He does finally have his level 6, but that was something that was really hurting Dire as well, that they couldn't get their combo off, even though they very clearly designed the lineup for that. So hopefully for them, it's finally going to be a chance to turn this around and stop being pushed so much by the Radiant, but they really only have one T1 left, so all of those extra fortifications have pretty much been wasted. I don't think they've ever actually used one of them, to be honest.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed any forts being used by the Dire, and they're pushing out the bottom tower here. They just got the mid tower. There was a deny by the Invoker, which was a pretty nice deny on his part, but that top tier 3 is at 425 HP, 13 minutes in the game, so just pretty scary when you're playing against a team like that who are just hell-bent on tearing apart your base, which, I mean, when it comes to it, we saw it during TI4. That's the objective of the game. It's to destroy the enemy base, despite all the other stuff around it. I mean, if you can do that and not let them defend properly, eventually you're going to win, so... yeah.
I was going to say, I was originally a little bit surprised at Dire for not picking up on PA, but of course forgot about the effect of her blur, which is I don't believe that ward would have seen her, so in this case it's a bit of a shame. They probably would have been able to catch her jungling if that ability didn't hide you from the minimap.
Yeah, and it's a nice little buff they did for her. I love the way that like Ice Rug and Valve balance this game. It's just like little changes that add, character to the different heroes, and also help them be just a little bit better. So it's not a huge change. It doesn't make her like invisible until she attacks or something, but it really does help a little bit just with that awareness.
Ace Path only catching Invoker, and it doesn't look like the Dire want to actually commit to this engagement.
I was surprised. I thought Ogre was going to throw a stun down on top of him, and I mean, you have a chance at a multicast. He does have a full mana pool, so it would have been, I think, a worthwhile attempt, but decides to hold off, maybe not wanting to risk PA's life. She still doesn't have a BKB, and she's still quite squishy, so if she'd gone in there, she might have just died, which would have thrown her farm back a pretty significant amount. So it looks like Faceless is now making that Maelstrom.
It was a little surprising, though, because obviously Broodmother's poised to take that tier 3 tower, so if they'd forced the fight, that thing would have been down for sure. Now, it looks like this thing's going to fall anyway, but I think they could have afforded to be a little bit bolder there.
Oh god, and Brood using the spiders all stacked up, doing so much damage to the Vengeful Spirit. She's trying to escape, she's going to just barely get away with her life. It looks like Void, oh man.
With the Chrono.
And that ward there actually provided him with the sight, but it also, there's a ward up for the Radiant side as well. So they're continuing to build on their advantage. They're actually driving up into the 10k net worth range. They're going to get this other tower here bottom. And that teamfight combo that we were raving about during the pick phase is not really happening here for the Dire.
Yeah, what it looks like is kind of Elder Titan hasn't really left the off lane. It doesn't really seem like they've ever actually gotten a team fight going. I mean, now everything's being contested in the top lane. I should maybe be talking about that. But at this point, Radiant's just kind of walking all over them. PA getting a kill on Vengeful Spirit. I really haven't felt her presence other than to be giving the enemy team kills, to be completely honest.
I think that the Radiant came into this game
game
seeing the crazy combo that the Dire built and just telling themselves, okay, we gotta keep them scattered, we have to keep pushing in all directions and trying to avoid them grouping up and pushing us 5. And they've done a really beautiful job of that. And you see the range racks being taken down now at 16 minutes. It's given PA space to farm, it's prevented them from grouping up and fighting effectively as a team, and it's allowed Quap and Ogre Magi and everyone else to run around and find pickoff kills here on them, so just really well played here by the Radiant. I'm impressed.
Yeah, you know, I think the other thing too is a lot of this comes down to the decision of Invoker to go Quas Invoke over Quas Exhort over Quas Wex, because if you think of it, to deal with the Spiderlings, you know, the CC on Invoker is probably going to be enough to at least delay Broodmother, if not just eliminate that threat. But now you're going to usually see about 3 or 4 Dire heroes trying to contend with Brood. So in this case here, I think the choice that he made, I mean, it could be the only thing that he plays, but I think it's a very costly choice for Dire.
Yeah, and I mean, that Ice Wall or the Tornado would have been very useful in helping to fight off the spiders, and right now he kind of, I mean, doesn't really have too many options in terms of powerful spells to use to try and prevent the spiders from pushing in.
I know it's not a plate of nachos or anything, but it is.
And I mean, I get why they do Quas Exhort too, right? It fits with the Chronosphere, you've got the Mystic Flare, and you've now got a Sunstrike on top of it, but I mean, everything doesn't need to be built around Void's ult. As we see, it's not been enough.
I'll be right back. I'm going to put on direct to camera, so you just
should
go
make
for
my
it.
life easier.
But yeah.
Dire's middle tower is
I'll switch it to myself just so I can see what you're seeing. Oh, it won't let me. All right. Right now we've got looks like a Mexican standoff in the top lane. I'm a little... Oh, Void does get an initiation. It is on 3, and it only looks like he's only going to be taking 1. No, and the Invoker Meatball takes it all down. Basically, complete wipe for Radiant. I'm terrible at casting these team fights. So good initiation on their part. Macropyre didn't do anything, probably a little bit too late, and we do finally see some signs of life in Dire. In the meantime, though, PA was able to pick up Roshan. I don't know if the team fight would have been any different without her, but it looks like she's going to be moving towards the bottom lane, probably to push it out, possibly even set them up for taking the next tower. As far as items are concerned, she has forgone any kind of a Battle Fury, instead opting to get the Skull Basher. Sounds like you're back, Pezant.
I am back.
If not, I can continue. No worries. I was going to say I completely failed to cast a 5-man team wipe for the Radiant because I caught it at the very end. But it was a really good chrono, followed up with a Chaos Meteor by Invoker, and more or less everybody was dead by the time I actually centered my camera. For whatever reason, directed camera isn't following.
It's pretty fail a lot of the time. But it sounds like they finally got their act together a little bit, and helping out there with the rise in net worth for the Radiant side. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. I mean, usually when something like that happens, the other team's like, oh shit, you know, let's get our act together, we'll play a little bit safer, won't group up as much, and then it's hard to find another opportunity like that, so I guess they kind of have to wait for a throw by the Radiant side here to make that happen again.
If you're looking to frustrate yourself, you can probably take a look at PA's item build. I know she's on the winning team and all of that. Oh, but we probably have an engagement coming up on here. She picked up the Hyperstone. She did get the Aegis of the Immortal. I don't know if you noticed that already. But yeah. We went for a Hyperstone, so the only real damage item that she has is the Skull Basher. And I know you tend to prefer the Phantom Strike for the attack speed, so the Power Treads could have been phase boots. Medallion is... you know, will help with damage through the armor reduction, but I mean, she just doesn't have a lot of damage to begin with. She's got auras and attack speed, and nothing to really hit hard with. And certainly a hero that's giving you those massive crits, I think you probably want maybe one aura and lots of damage items rather than one damage item and lots of auras and attack speed.
Yeah, it seems like a weird build, and I mean, no one else on her team is really going to be doing that much right-clicking, so it's not like she's getting the Vlad as, like, you know, the benefactor for another right-click melee carry on our team. Oh, there's the
Chrono on the...
This is Void. Just a quick pick off here on the Queen of Pain, and he actually does have his Maelstrom up now, so he's going to be able to clear out those spiders a lot better.
Dire's top barracks is being attacked.
And now's the opportunity for them to push in. PA's actually here top, so they're doing a good job here capitalizing on it. She jumps over onto the Elder Titan, but that 0 damage there is screwing her over, and she does have the Vladimir's, but she gets popped by the Chaos Meteor. Faceless jumping in here on top of the Ogre Magi, trying to do as much damage as he can. Meanwhile, the Elder Titan is dying, but Ogre Magi trades his life for his, essentially. And a good hold here by the Dire. And I really think that these PA items are dragging her team down, because she's not as scary as she should be. She should be jumping on people and them just evaporating in the first few hits, especially with the lead that they've been building. And I think that she has a net worth advantage. She's 3,000 gold ahead of Faceless Void, but you just don't see it in the way that she's attacking.
She did successfully rip apart Skywrath Mage, but I mean, that's not exactly an accomplishment, right?
She's trying to take out the Faceless Void, but even at half health, he's able to squeeze out of that. He's doing a little bit of work here, but I think as soon as the team comes together, and there's Invoker, he's going to spank her with his Chaos Meteor. She's out. Elder Titan wraps around from the bottom here. TP's in on top of Chihiro, takes him out as well. So they managed to get the melee racks, but yeah, they're kind of tapering off a little bit, and this is risky for them. If there's another big team fight in the way of the Dire, they might actually be able to turn it around back over to their side. They just got to keep this Broodmother under control and prevent them from taking any more of their buildings.
Yeah, looks like PA is still continuing on with building this AC. I mean, I get the armor reduction, but I think she probably has a bit of a misconception in terms of lifesteal. Like, lifesteal is going to be a percentage of your damage, and if you're not really doing any damage, what's the point in building the Vlads in the first place?
Yeah, and Vlad doesn't even really have that much lifesteal anyways. Usually you get it because you want to get an orb, and she didn't get an orb, and she doesn't have any summons, so it's just a really weird choice on her part. I'm not sure what she's planning. This might be death for Queen of Pain. No, she blinks away too quickly for Skywrath to be able to react. Yeah, if we take a look at the other items, Brood has an Orchid, always good on Brood, obviously. Quap has the Aghanim. She's working up towards getting a BKB. Those spiders doing so much damage to the Vengeful Spirit, but he needs to be careful not to feed them over to the Faceless Void. Really good sentry placement here by the supports on the Dire side, helping out a lot with keeping Brood Mama and those spiders under control. There's actually a Necro 3 on the Invoker, which is a great pickup by him. Drums, which are always good on the Elder Titan. Some just basic support items on the Vengeful Spirit. And then Void with that Maelstrom. It looks like he's making a BKB now, which is also a good choice by him. An interesting item here is that Skywrath Mage looks like he's going to be making a Rod of Atos. Some pigs coming out, just a bunch of spiders dying. But yeah, I like the item choices on the Dire side. They're really building to the strengths of their heroes, and that Necro book is actually super key for the Dire side. Invoker's going to be able to pop that during any of the fights and help out a lot with keeping Broodmother in control, which is kind of the top priority, given that PA sort of misspent her gold a little bit in terms of her item choices. So she's not too much of a problem, even though she should be a little bit more of one.
I'll be honest, actually, I think in that engagement in the off lane, he could have afforded to have popped it right away, just simply because it's not like they're going to be pushing towers anytime soon, and Broodmother's obviously just going to be constantly putting pressure on this lane here, so I think just pulling out the book, committing to killing the Broodmother, that just gives them the breathing space that they need to kill the other Radiant heroes in the mid.
Yeah, I think if you have communication with your teammates and Void is ready to jump in there with a Chrono once the Necro spots out Broodmother, that's a really good choice because he can go in there, time walk, make sure he's on top of her, pop the Chrono, and then probably finish her off because he has the Sunstrike to support for extra damage. Would have been a really nice pick off for them and given them some time to go ahead and push the top lane back out, get a little bit more farm on their key core heroes and kind of get back into the swing of things. Yeah, so
I think what Invoker's kind of going through is a little bit like how people think of certain ultimates, like the Witch Doctor ultimate. Everybody saves it for the perfect one, and it's a shame because it's got a relatively low cooldown. I mean, 95 seconds isn't trivial for Necronomicon, but especially if it means that you're getting that kill on Broodmother or even the Spiderlings because they're so starved for farm. I think it's a useful.
Ooh, a nice deafening blast
useful
there
pop
from the Invoker, going to push those spiders off the tower, so good timing by him. Looks like they might be finding
we've got engagement middle.
Did Jakiro get
Oh,
popped?
come on, too.
There's
Circle
a
Kite comes
Cosby. Oh my god, PA dies as well. There's 2 left here on the Radiant side. Brood is trying to push out the bottom lane, but Invoker's going to run over here. He's got his Necro Bros out. They're going to finish off the spiders. No, the spiders do finish off the tower. But that's a 3-for-1 trade. Pop is trying to push in mid. She's doing some damage to the tower. It's a risky business for her. She's going to back up and get away. So that fight, the way these fights have been going, now we're seeing the combo in action, and people just die so quickly. Meteor, everything explodes, and they all die with Faceless Void beating away at them with his Maelstrom. So
it's actually also worth noting too that it wasn't a tower kill from Broodmother. It was actually another really good tower denied by Invokers. So
was it? Oh my god! I thought she got the kill. That's really he's done a great job. Kind of holding back the momentum people traditionally gain by getting towers. He denied that mid tower with a great snipe by his Forge Spirit, and then the bottom tower as well, which was so good I didn't even notice it.
I don't understand why Venge hasn't warded this area in front of the racks yet. Oh, now she has.
She did now, but I think even one a little bit further up, spend that extra 100 gold and get one right on top of the racks, just in case. Because Brood can still sneak her spiders over the cliff and over towards the racks and start picking at the range racks or something like that, which is...
Yeah. It's actually how she's been doing it the entire time as well. I've never seen her actually send the spiderlings all the way up. Looks like Invoker's going to be dying to PA and Broodmother.
To ages of learning.
And Invoker and... Ogre actually able to smack at that ward. Funny that it's in melee range. Quap using her Scream somewhere. Oh, just to clear the mid. But they're pushing bottom while Invoker is down. Does he have buyback? No buyback on the Invoker, so this might be a key fight here for the Dire. They've been doing a really good job holding. They need to turn this around back over onto the Radiant, or at least prevent them from doing too much damage. Elder Titan does hit PA with his ulti. Venge looking for a stun, does stun over onto the PA. Void jumping in, gets Yules, needs that BKB to prevent that from happening. Well, he actually BKBs now, so he had it ready, but he wasn't using it immediately during his chrono. Looks like he might be able to finish off the PA. He is going to die. Now he wants to chase down everyone else. No BKB available though, so this is a little bit risky. No multicast from the Ogre Magi is going to leave him alive for a little bit longer. Stomp coming out from the Elder Titan, just trying to hold everyone down, prevent them from doing too much damage. Used by Jakiro here. He's trying to keep himself alive, so he can do a little bit more on the racks. Range racks does go down. Faceless clearing out the spiders here. He's going to be able to save the melee racks. Meanwhile, Elder Titan chases down the Broodmother. He's looking for a stomp, doesn't hit her. She's going to get away into the trees.
Tower is under attack.
So I'd say a good hold by the Dire overall. They did lose the racks, but now they really need to push out, start taking towers, because actually they haven't taken any towers at all on the Radiant side. And they really need to get these lanes pushed out.
Yeah, I think unfortunately it's just not going to turn out. Well, maybe Faceless Void can make something happen here.
Dire's middle tower is under
Yeah, Brood's just been so
Use
good
your
at...
Necrobark!
So
Oh! Sorry.
Yeah.
God damn. You were saying Brood.
Yeah, well, I mean, Brood's been doing this all game. She's just been really good at knowing the limits of her hero. She's always been able to run away from the Dire, and every time they want to try and take a tower, there's just going to be this specter of the Broodmother holding over them. So, and honestly, if you look at the way Brood's been playing, it's always just been in this tree line here. Whether they use the Necro units, whether they put the Sentry Ward down, it's been the same trick that she's been beating them with the whole time.
Yeah, and I want to see someone be, dedicated to the Brood kill squad. Faceless jumping out here, doesn't quite catch her. Necro Book might come out here from the Invoker. He's going to go ahead and throw it down the lane, so losing out on potential kill there with the Necro Book. Other Titan looking for Brood here in the trees. It's being such a huge pain. I think at this point, you leave everyone but Faceless. Faceless goes and just pushes the crap out of top as quickly as he can, has a TP ready to jump back and help defend. Because they were doing a good job holding, and there were some mistakes made by the Radiant, but now they've kind of got themselves back together, and they're just gradually pushing them in, doing what we mentioned earlier, which was, destroying the buildings. That's the end goal of this game. Nice kill here again on the ward. Sport's not really paying attention, throwing down a fresh ward when it got dewarded by a sentry earlier with Ogre Magi punching it out, so a little bit of a shame there for them. Spiders are attacking the racks. Faces, oh god, just gets dropped by a multicast. He's actually going to die from the burn. Needs to activate his BKB, doesn't, burns away. Does have a buyback though, so I guess he wanted to save that. He's TPing in the Aegis is popped on the Phantom Assassin. Looks like he's going to choose to jump on these two, but actually gets hit by an Ice Path. Needs to be quicker about using that BKB during fights. Goes ahead and triggers it right near the end. Is going to kill off the Ogre Magi. Now chasing after the Jakiro. Jakiro is going to die as well. The Rax is still up. Brute is running away on the side. So 4 for none, it looks like. Well, buyback from Void. So 4 for 1, essentially. With the Aegis being popped on the PA. And PA, no BKB, just getting it now. Just really, 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 really terrible itemization on her part. She's dragging her team down so hard because all she got, like AC before BKB and Medallion, just like taking up slots when you're farming so much. Just, I don't know. It's a sad thing to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a benefit. Oh, wow. I thought Invoker was gonna drop as soon as the Orchid was on him, but it looks like Brute's in a cautious mode. Maybe she thought there would be backup, and there is now.
Invoker actually really close to getting his sheep stick. And man, I hate Broodmother so much. I just want the Radiant to lose. So I want to see him just sheep Broodmother and just destroy her. We'll see if it does happen or not. Bob jumping away here before anyone else is able to get in position. Yeah, this faces Void. He needs a TP and he needs to go top and he needs to push and try and get a tower or two. Just some counter pressure because right now their team is spending so much time hanging out with Broodmother in the bottom lane. Does catch her with a tornado, but actually while she's in the tornado, she's protected from being dusted. So the dust doesn't apply. Invoker doesn't have a Necro Book available. There is a Sentry Ward thrown down here, and they're going to finish off the Broodmother. So finally, they get some action there. But she killed the Vengeful Spirit with the spiders. That's so rough. But I mean, they're expending way too much effort. You need to just have like 1 or 2 people there fighting off the spiders, keeping the Broodmother away, and then continue pressuring on the rest of the map. Otherwise, you just give them the game, basically. You're like, go ahead and pressure us as much as you want, and eventually you're going to win.
Yeah. I think another thing, too, that the Dire could have benefited from was just simply putting a ward up on the... I believe you can still do this, is just put a ward up on, like, the edge of the map on the cliffs.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Yeah.
Because of the... the ability to... I believe Broodmother can't... she can't traverse over trees if she's visible to the team, correct?
Yeah, so you can
or was
do
it if she's taken damage?
A ward combo there to give you sight on the side and prevent her from being able to sneak around. Probably, I'd say, between this area... Oh, I can't... Like this area here, just kind of try and cover that off. Because that's where it's the most annoying abuse of her free walking is being perpetrated.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the biggest shame about the Dire side right now, is they finally have some space, and every single one of them is in the base. Now, I mean, they're smoking up, but, they were there for a lot longer than they should have been.
Well, Faces finds 2 there with the Chrono. There's a Sunstrike coming out. He hasn't used... Oh, he does use his BKB to protect himself from Ogre Magi, who actually ran into the Chrono, gets swapped back by Venge, gets buying him a little bit of time. No stun available from her, but that's going to be the death of Ogre Magi. Not even a chance for him to stun out the person who was chasing him. I forget who now. So there's 2 left here on bottom. They're going to go ahead and push mid. No TP on the Faceless Void, though, and it's going to have to be Invoker passing it off to him if he wants to get back in time. So this is quite risky. This is why you always carry a TP as a carry. If you need to sell that Ring of Aquila, I mean, he has space, obviously, but you just got to be ready to get back home and defend. Deafening Wall here going to buy a little bit of time. It's not going to save Elder Titan, though, and PA's actually jumping over onto the Invoker. 2 of them getting picked off here by this deadly combo. They are going to push mid and take that tower. They should be able to swing and maybe take the tier 2 mid as well. PA getting distracted by the Necro dude. But still, no TP. Okay, TP is on Faces Void, granted by the Skywrath Mage. And is there a buyback available? Invoker does have buyback. No buyback on Elder Titan, though. But Invoker does have buyback. And Faces Void actually just backing up, strangely enough.
Also noticing...
Not at the base yet, so I don't know what he's doing, but he's backing up.
I'm noticing a very late mech on Vengeful Spirit, but I suppose it's not been the easiest game for her, so I shouldn't be too judgmental.
He's looking for the kill here on Brood, but the stun's actually from the PA gonna finish him off. They need to just finish off PA! Don't let her escape! She blinks back onto the Invoker and turns it right back around, and that Sheep Stick, though, is gonna make the difference. Brood is actually getting caught on the ledge, like we mentioned before, with that Sentry Ward, not able to free walk back up. And Prop actually chasing down the Courier. She's diving up over into their base. She looks like she wants to find a kill here on the Skywrath Mage. Jakiro wrapping around from the side. Lots of damage coming out here on Venge. Invoker's being forced to back up. And this might be GG, actually. There's 4 of them up. The only one down is PA, so... No buyback for the Faceless Void, so cooldown.
Yeah, and in the end, just what we've been seeing from Radiant the whole time, good split push, the mid racks were going down pretty much at the exact same time that the bottom racks were, so Megas, when there's only one tier 1 down, is pretty much all she wrote.
Yeah, it's the story of this game. That's, I don't know, it's what you need to do as a Broodmother, and it's what you need to avoid as a team playing against a Broodmother. You can let her take those first 2 outer towers, but you need to get there, and you need to defend, and you need to prevent damage on your tier 3, otherwise it just gets out of control. Once you have one lane down that early, it's so hard to defend effectively, and they did defend, but they weren't pushing back out when they had the opportunities, so they eventually just got picked apart. So it's going to be GG, and well played by both teams, but the tank engines just couldn't get it together enough to prevent this loss.
Dire has fortified its structures.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny. If you had told me PA's item build at the end of this game and what the 2 lineups were, I would have told you that Dire would win for sure. But, you know, Brood made this face. If you think about it, PA wasn't that much of a threat until maybe around this point.
Is being attacked.
She wasn't doing anything pretty much all game. I mean, the only contribution she made there was stunning up the Faceless Void. But yeah, I mean, the way her team played with pushing and picking off people, they really made it possible for them to win, despite the fact that she had some pretty poor item choices. And I don't know, maybe they're stacking all the farm on the Brood and they just wanted PA to be an aura carrier for the Broodmother, but that's just a very strange way of doing things.
Attacks now.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially with something like Vlad's, I mean, Broodmother has her own lifesteal through her abilities anyway, so...
Yeah. And they're trying to hold off these creeps, but it's mega creeps, and they got the Radiant side swinging in. The Ancient taking so much damage there in that salvo of attacks here from these guys.
I believe if the tank engines successfully hold for another 60 minutes, the creeps will be at the strength required to hold off the megas.
That was a crazy game. I didn't see it, but reading about it, I was like, oh god. When you get to the point that your regular creeps are stronger than mega creeps, you know something's like, it's pretty crazy.
You know you're watching a Dota game from China.
Yeah. And there's the GG. That's going to be the end of this game. We're going to come back to you with another game in just a moment. We just got to find something else that's suitable. But this was fun. This was fun to cast. Definitely better than Invoker throwing from minute 1.
Speed Invoker.
Yes, Speed Invoker. This Invoker did a much better job of playing the hero. And I guess if you go to the Universidad de Brasilia, that's where you learn how to rap as a Broodmother in a spectacular style.
Auditioning for Alliance tomorrow.
Yeah, apparently.